Hello and welcome back to another Overwatch tips and tricks video. Today I'm going to be over one of the hardest heroes to learn in all of the game, which is Sigma. So Sigma is actually a lot like Reinhardt in a couple of ways if you really think about it. So the first of these ways is that he has an optimal range. Reinhardt's is really easy to understand because Reinhardt cannot consistently hit people without being right in front of them. In Sigma, since his orbs have a maximum range, most people think, just get close and make sure that you're in your maximum range. But that's not actually what you want to do. You want to play from about 15 to 20 meters away from your target. And this is so that, because the orbs have a 22 meter range, even if you do end up missing, a couple meters later, the orb will explode and still do AoE damage to you. The other thing that makes Sigma a lot like Reinhardt is to play Sig, you have to know how to manage your shield and keep your shield health up. So to do this, you have to acknowledge the fact that you're an off tank in most compositions. So your shield shouldn't be out there protecting your team. It should just protect the people who need it most, kind of like you would do with Beavis Defense Matrix. So for example, if your McCree is using High Noon, you can put your shield in front of him, so that he can't be bursted down before he gets the ult off, or if someone on their team is using a big ability like an antibiotic grenade, you can put it out and block that, and then bring it back in and let it charge for a while, and then block the next big ability that's locked at your backline. And the last thing I want to go over before I get into Sigma's ultimate is what happens if a situation arises where your shield is dead or almost dead, but your team still needs protection. What you can do there is remember that you have double the health of the average hero. So just stand in front of your team, body block some damage, and then when people start finding their aim on you, start getting into a good rhythm to track you, then use Kinetic Grasp, and as they use their abilities to try and get the finishing blow, you eat up so much health and you'll have it for the fight that's just about to ensue. Sigma's Critic Flex is a really good ultimate, but it helps so much to know the statistics for it. So when you lift them up into the air, Flex does 50 damage. So in the theoretical sense of this, let's use Mercy for example. The Mercy will be at 150 health. Then on the slam down, Flex will get rid of 50% of the maximum HP. So if Mercy's max HP pool is 200 and half of 200 is 100, you'll do 100 damage when you slam her back down, leaving the Mercy at 50 HP. So if when you're in the air, you connect one Hypersphere of your two, and you have time to do one shot, and you will end up dealing 55 damage, so the Mercy will be at 95 health for the slam down, and would end up dying. So in another situation, if you put a Reinhardt, a Zenyatta, and a Hanzo into Flux, you can only have time to use one left click, so you can only hit one of them. Immediately disregard the tanks. You will do a ton of damage to the Rein, but there's a very low chance that you eliminate them, because the 50 damage at the start is not as big on tanks as it is on damage players and supports. So you look at the HP bar for the Hanzo in the Zen, which you will be able to see after doing 50 damage and lifting them up, and you Hypersphere whichever one is farthest away from 50 HP, while still managing to get them below 50% HP, while keeping in mind that the maximum Hypersphere damage is 110. So if they're both at the same HP, hit the target that's more important to the team composition, which in this case would be the Zenyatta. And after a little bit of practice, you will get better at knowing who to Flux and who to kill in Flux, as well as how to get massive Fluxes. To counter Sigma, I'm going to go back to the thing I talked about at the start of this video, which is Sigma's optimal range. So as I said, it's the 15 to 20 meter range, so that if he misses you, he'll probably still hit you with the splash damage of the Hyperspheres. So if you just play farther than 25 meters away, it's literally impossible for him to hit you with his left clicks. But if you are a close range hero like Tracer, then that also does work, because if he does miss, then the explosion will still be far away, and the Hyperspheres will just go flying behind you or bounce straight up off the floor and deal no damage, while you still put in damage from your optimal range. But of course, if you are in a small room, then if he misses you, they'll bounce off the walls and probably hit you, or they could bounce off the floor, then the roof, and then hit you. So try to avoid fighting a Sigma in a small room as well. Thanks again for watching, and make sure to stay tuned for my next videos, which should be coming out very, very soon.